Welcome to Wiki Bros. I'm Justin,
This is Kyle.
and this is a show with a couple of guys exploring various Wikipedia articles. So, last time we talked about how we have a few episodes to go until Halloween.
Before we get to the really scary stuff.
So we were going to do a series on serial killers and hauntings, stuff like that.
Exorcisms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to use a demon voice.
We just played around with the demon voice.
I'm really excited, guys.
He's so
I'm
excited
so
over
excited
this.
about this. It's awesome.
Today we're gonna go into Andrew Kehoe.
Are you saying the name right?
I think I'm saying it right. I really don't know.
Kehoe.
He's born in 1872, so I don't think he'll be upset if I pronounce his name wrong.
Probably not. And his family's probably disowned his name by this point anyway.
Yes, they do.
Really? No,
Well,
that was a total guess.
I mean, not completely. His in-laws do for sure.
Well, I can understand.
But anyway, this cat was born in 72.
1872.
1870. Yeah, I should have said that. He was a mass murderer. He's from Michigan, so he's a farmer up there. But kind of seems like he's not really good at farming.
How do you farm and not be good at it?
So he likes.
I guess everybody can suck at everything, but
he likes to play around. Like he's kind of inventive.
Oh, okay.
Right?
So he's just an inventor.
Yeah, I mean he spends more time trying different things, like the ways to make his life easier, but it takes more time.
Maybe he just needs a garage and not a farm.
Yeah. So what he did was he kills his wife, maybe a mercy killing. He kills her, and then he blows up a school.
With kids in it?
Yeah.
And
this is like 1927.
Oh, wow.
Right.
That just goes to show you, always school violence, even all the way back to then. We talk about guns and stuff now, but man, bombings even in the 1920s, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
I never would have thought anything would have happened that far back.
I would not have either.
Crazy people have always been here.
Right. So this guy, it seemed like he might have been halfway sane at one point in his life. But
I mean, we'll be the judge of that, I guess. Reading through is, I guarantee you, there's probably some childhood trauma.
I really don't know on him. I do know though that he was a younger sibling of 13.
Oh wow, big family.
Yeah.
I thought the 7 siblings or the 7 of us.
Yeah.
In my family were a lot, but it's 13. Geez.
13.
You would need a full bus to drive around.
And they probably didn't really have that.
It's 1927.
Yeah, they probably didn't travel a lot. I wouldn't think. But he went to Michigan State. He was studying electrical engineering.
Oh, so he's a fairly intelligent guy.
Yeah, and he goes on to why he's doing all these inventions.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
But I don't understand the need for the farm then.
Well, he's trying to make his life easier on the farm.
Did he grow up on a farm himself?
I really don't know.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. But he met his future wife, Ellen Nellie Price, there. She was the daughter of a wealthy Lansing family. And after college, he went southwest, apparently working for several years as an electrician in St. Louis. And during the period in 1911, though, he suffered a head injury during a fall. And because of that, he's in a coma for 2 weeks.
I'm sure that had some effect on his mental state.
Maybe. I'm guessing that's probably where it really started at. At that point, he moves back home with his dad. And but
how old is he now?
Well, this was 1911. And so he was
born in 72?
Yeah, so he's like 39.
Okay.
All right.
So he's a grown man at this point.
Right. Yeah. But when he moves back in with his dad has been remarried now because his mother died.
Okay.
All right. And he doesn't really care for the stepmommy.
Oh. Didn't like the new wife, huh?
Yep. But he's 39 years old. Like, grow the fuck up.
Yeah. Like, you're the one who chose to move home at 39.
Maybe
it's because the
purely a guess, but I'm I'm assuming he moved back home because
The head
of
trauma.
yeah, and he probably like is out of work for a while. He probably can't get back into it, or maybe he's just wants to live with daddy again. I don't know.
I mean, who knows? I mean, maybe. I mean, if he's in a coma for 2 weeks. I mean, who knows what the recovery time on that would have been? He was just out of the coma for 2. He probably lost his job coming out of the coma.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean
because even
that
even though even
early,
if he's out of the coma in 2 weeks, he's like, how long was his actual recovery from the hospital?
right? Yep. But this is 1911,
Hmm.
and I really don't know exactly when that happened, but it was earlier in the year I think of 1911. But now he's moved back home with his dad and stepmom, and on September 17th of 1911, Frances, which is stepmom,
Okay.
she's severely burned when the family's stove exploded as she was attempting to light it.
Oh,
The fuel soaked her, with her body catching fire.
wait,
And
wait, 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 wait.
yes,
What kind of fuel were they
I,
using in the stove?
I don't know. It's 1911. All I've ever used is propane.
I mean,
I really don't know.
do they mean like a heater? Not like not an oven stove, like a
I don't
not
know.
wood burning, obviously.
Yeah,
Maybe it was like
maybe
a,
it
a
is
kerosene heater.
maybe it is like an oil stove. I'm really not sure.
Okay.
But the fuel anyway soaks her body. She's on fire, and then Kehoe throws water on her,
Ooh. Well,
which
so it must be like a
which
grease or oil base because that
yeah,
would
well,
that would
it's
light up with
oil
the oil.
based, right? And so the water does nothing, and
Ooh, she got fried.
yeah, and she dies.
Oh wow.
Yep. But not only did she die, there were allegations being made that the stove had been tampered with.
Well, that would line up with his invention. I mean, he's an engineer, right? Like, could have been. He didn't
Yeah,
like her.
and who knows? Maybe, but they never.
It's always easy to point the finger like after the fact. I mean, the guy did kill like a bunch of kids and adults, so it's
But
easy
at
to
this
say.
time, he hasn't.
Well, no, but if it lines up with everything else later, the likelihoods
Oh
has
yeah,
to
I
be a
see
little
what you're saying.
higher there.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
if they suspected it then it's like
Right.
kind of
Yep.
leans more to the yes on that side.
Yep. So it says after his return to Michigan in 1912 is when he married Nellie Price. In 1919, they bought what? Here, you're going to like this. They bought a 185-acre farm
Oh, okay.
outside the village of Bath, okay?
For how much?
$12,000.
180 acres.
185
Let's
acres for
see.
12,000.
Let's see. I'm gonna make a guess here.
Okay.
Today's earnings 320,000.
Whew. Man, you're close.
Oh
$337,000.
man,
But what's pretty
a
neat
little higher. I
is
would have caught it.
he paid half of that in cash.
Where did he come up with 6 grand in
He's
cash?
living with his dad. He doesn't have to pay any bills, I guess.
Apparently, they had a cheap wedding.
Which he had the electrical engineering degree, so he's probably making a decent amount of money.
Yeah, but when it comes into term and comparison for how much they bought that for, like that's the equivalent of having like $150,000 sitting
Right.
around.
Right.
I don't care where you're living at. Like that's still a lot of money to have sitting in your bank account.
Well, he lives with his dad.
I can move home with my parents and I won't collect $150,000 in a
Mm,
couple years.
yes, you will.
No, no.
If
If
you're
I'm
not paying for anything,
any
you're not paying for anything.
anything at all,
Nope.
no car. I guess that is 1911.
Yeah.
It's like what are they? They don't have like insane bills like we do now.
So
Car payment. I mean, hell, he probably wouldn't even had a car at that point in time.
no, I would not think so. Remember, 1911, Indianapolis 500.
Yeah.
Uh,
Thank you for that history.
yep. So it says he was regarded by his neighbors as a highly intelligent man who grew impatient and angry with those who disagreed with him,
Hmm.
which I think that's pretty normal. A lot of people get angry with people who disagree with them all the time.
I mean,
Stop disagreeing with me, Kyle. Damn it.
I didn't even disagree with you. I just
You were
said I
thinking it.
mean.
Said the neighbors recalled that he was always neat, dressed meticulously, and was known to change his shirt at midday or whenever it became even slightly dirty. Now,
Tad OCD.
this is a farmer.
Right, right. Like I said, I feel like he is not in the right field that
I
he needs to
don't
be in.
think so either.
He should probably be living in the city with like a garage and just do that.
Yeah. Said the neighbors also recounted how he was cruel to his farm animals, having once beaten a horse to death.
Jeez, with what?
I don't know, but he did it.
Like, couldn't use your hand. God, you can break your hand trying to beat up a horse. Like, you have to hit him with something.
So
That's just mean. Beating up a horse.
it also says they initially attended services at the Catholic Church in Bath, but he refused to pay the church's parish assessment of members and prevented his wife from attending.
Okay, okay? So I come from a Christian background, as do you. So parish, I mean, is that equivalent of is it like a membership fee that they pay?
I don't know. This is the first time I've ever seen this, and it might be.
I mean, we pay tithings in
Well,
the Christian community, but I don't know
but
if
I mean,
I would assume that they would do the same thing.
Yeah, I
But
don't
maybe
know.
they have additional fee. Anybody out there knows? Let us know. Parish. I mean, I know the parish is like their group.
Parish assessment of members.
It has to be. It has to be like a membership
Yeah,
fee.
it must be. So it said that his neighbors thought he preferred mechanical tinkering to farming. Yes.
Clearly.
hmm it said his neighbor wrote in an account of the disaster. He never farmed it as other farmers do, and he tried to do everything with his tractor. He was in the height of his glory when fixing machinery or tinkering. He was always trying new methods in his work, for instance, hitching two mowers behind his tractor. This method did not work at different times, and he would just leave the hay standing. He also put 4 sections of drag and 2 rollers at once behind his tractor. He spent so much time tinkering that he didn't prosper.
So he had all these grand ideas on how to hook machinery together, and then never actually did a lot of farming.
Yeah.
Why didn't he just rent the land out?
Well, I don't know, but I mean, he's got to have a decent amount of money,
I mean, he had $6,000 lying around.
or maybe that was all of his money, though. It
Could
could
have
have been. But either way, he's not cut out to be a farmer.
No.
Uh,
Although I could send him to my dad's house to fix the 72 tractors that he's got sitting around. You guys don't know my dad, but he's got a lot of tractors that don't work.
yes,
Like, it's ridiculous. He'll actually go to auctions and buy
tractors that don't
tractors
work.
that don't work with the grand scheme that he's going to fix this to use one day. And he hauls them home, and there they sit, lost and lonely for the next 10 years.
hmm You should figure out how to fix tractors.
I'll add that to the gigantic list of things I have to do.
Uh,
Maybe one day. I mean, it's gonna. I mean, if anything ever happens, I would definitely pay to get them fixed somewhere because he's got they could be worth some money. He's
Right.
bought them fairly cheap, but then some of the tractors are so old. It's like getting parts of them can be kind of difficult.
Doesn't matter. You do it. Stop disagreeing with me, Kyle.
I'm so sorry. So sorry. How dare I?
Says with a reputation for thrift, Kehoe was elected treasurer of Bath Consolidated School Board in 1924. Okay. While on the board, he fought for lower taxes and was often at cross purposes with other board members, voting against them and calling for adjournment when he did not get his way.
Let's say for somebody who doesn't like being argued with, then
Yeah.
he's kind of in the wrong area, especially at the school meeting.
And he's constantly accusing the superintendent of financial mismanagement. So he's not really liking the people he's working with.
Probably not going to be treasurer much longer.
Yeah, it says while he's on the school board, he was appointed as the Bath Township clerk in 1925 for a short period.
Hold on.
Yes.
You said Bath Township?
Yeah.
Like the town's name is Bath?
Yeah.
Bath.
Yes. Bath.
Like, I'm going to take a bath.
Yes. This is the first time.
This is the best name that they could come up with for a town is Bath.
I could look into it.
Who the hell was in charge of naming? Somebody needs fired.
I could look into it, but
Yeah, I kind of want to know. I mean,
but
you can't tell me that that's the best name that they could come up with.
my guess is that Bath is a person's name.
And that's even worse. Who would have a last name of Bath? I'm sorry to all you Bath families out there, but change your last name. Make it something. Bath, really?
I
My
guess
last name's gonna be Sink.
I like it. Why not Shower?
I don't know.
Okay.
Shower's too long. Sink's like short,
I got you.
kind of like Bath.
So in spring of 1926 election, he was defeated for his position as the township clerk,
Oh, he's gonna lose his mind.
and he was angry.
Was this right before he
This,
bombed the
well,
school?
1927,
And he lost this election win?
26.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And his neighbor, yeah, of course, everyone's going to say stuff after the fact, but his neighbor's like, oh, I think that's when he started planning his murderous revenge. His neighbor sounds like he's a nosy son of a bitch, honestly. Like, why is his neighbor in here talking about all this shit for? He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
He doesn't really know.
No.
I mean, he was the
he-
closest person to him within 200 acres,
Yeah, and he probably just wants to be in the spotlight.
maybe.
He's like
It wasn't much of a spotlight in 1911, or in this case, 1926.
Well, yeah. So anyway, another neighbor though noticed that Kehoe stopped working altogether on his farm in his last year and thought he might be planning suicide.
Hmm.
During these years, Nellie Kehoe, the wife, right, she gets chronically ill with TB. So she's in the hospital quite a bit, and
So he could be tending to her.
yeah, I mean, honestly, yeah, he could be. And at the time, there was no effective treatment or cure for TB.
Right.
Right. But by the time of the Bath School disaster, he had ceased making mortgage payments
Oh.
and homeowners insurance payments. Right, and the mortgage lender began the foreclosure process.
So he really was going off the deep end here.
I don't know. I don't know if he knew what he was doing and he's like, why am I going to continue paying this? Or if it was the hospital stays really draining him financially,
That could be too.
you know?
I mean, but I'm not going to. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. His neighbor didn't have anything to say about that, so we don't know.
Somebody go ask Steve.
Steve, I like it.
Seems a good name for a neighbor.
The
But a lot of neighbors named Steve.
Bath School disaster is the name given to a series of explosions perpetrated by Kehoe on May 18th of 1927.
What type of explosives did he use?
Well,
Does it say?
it does, but he used dynamite, pyritol,
Okay.
which I've never heard of it before, but it sounded like that was basically something that was kind of set up a secondary explosion.
Okay.
All right. But he loaded the school with it. All right.
How was he
Well,
getting in
he
the school?
was on the school board.
No, he wasn't. He had lost.
No. He's still on the school board.
He's just not the treasurer.
He's not the township clerk.
Okay.
He was doing both. So, yeah, he still has access to the school. And it's not like they had any kind of security measures back then. They'd let anybody into the school, I'm sure.
I will say, after reading through this a little bit, to date, and that's of today, this is the largest massacre that's ever happened at a school.
Right.
With just on the casualties and the injuries.
Yeah, there was actually 45 people killed, including himself.
Wow.
And
how many of those were children versus adults?
I believe it was 39 kids.
That's sad.
Yep. It says most of the victims were children in the 2nd to 6th grade. And so what he did was somewhere between May 16th and May 18th. Okay, May 18th is when this happens, but somewhere between the 16th and the 18th, his wife comes home from the hospital. Okay, he kills her. I don't know how he kills her, but he kills her.
Doesn't state any reason
I
behind
have
it.
no idea.
Gotcha.
But he moves her body out to a farm building, and then sets off explosions in their house and the farm buildings.
Holy cow!
Yeah.
Well, no wonder he wasn't making the payments.
Right. Well, and he did this though at the same time he arranged for the explosions in the school building.
Man, he had to have been planning this for months.
Yeah.
And it's
Says
whether or not like the financial drain led him to this, and that was like the final straw, or if he just made the conscious decision and then was just getting even with everybody at one time.
yeah, he sounds like he's kind of a disgruntled guy.
Well, I mean, but to blow up your own house and smell, I mean,
Well, he doesn't care. What he's not going back to it.
True. I mean, it sounds like he had every intention to commit
Yes.
suicide from
Yep.
the get go.
I agree. It said the materials in the north wing exploded as planned, killing many students and some adults inside. Kehoe had set a timed detonator to ignite dynamite and hundreds of pounds of pyritol at the school. Okay, so let's talk about this pyritol.
Yeah,
It says that it was
I'm unfamiliar with this.
reprocessed from military surplus with a typical composition of 60% smokeless powder, 34% sodium nitrate, and 6% of 40% nitroglycerin dynamite, usually used in combination with dynamite, created an incendiary blast.
Now, none of you go out there and make your own pyritol.
No.
You blow yourselves up.
So anyway, but he used that, okay? He had secretly bought it and planted it in the basement of both wings over the course of many months. The second
Where would you even buy
I
this
have
at?
no idea.
Like, can you think of gun laws now and how difficult it is to get anything, even bullets? It's like, okay, you just walk into the store and be like, hey, I need
You
like
can't get any bullets because they're hiring all these IRS agents that have to have guns on them now.
Yeah, no kidding. But no, like think of like going down to the store and just picking up like a shopping cart full of dynamite. Like,
Yeah, I
what are you doing today, Andrew? Oh, just fishing.
I really don't know how the laws were back then, but I would almost think that maybe you could.
I mean, back then.
You
I mean,
could-
what
'cause you-
1920s?
What you could be using it for.
Right.
Right.
I mean, back then they could get away
Plus
with
you-
using it for excavation.
Well,
You
that's
could
what I'm
use it.
saying.
Yeah, I mean, there's
he's got
tons of uses.
185 acres.
Demolition. He could be taking down a building.
Right. So anyway, the north wing, that part exploded. After the fact, searching down there, they found a second set of 500 pounds of explosives in the south wing that didn't detonate. Rescuers started gathering at the school. Kehoe drives up, stops his truck, and during a struggle with the superintendent, which is the one that he, was bitching at earlier,
Yeah.
because he doesn't know how to manage money, apparently. Kehoe detonated dynamite stored inside his shrapnel-filled truck, killing himself and the superintendent.
He really had it out for that guy.
Yeah, but when this happened, it also killed and injured several others, and among them was a boy who survived the initial bombing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So he got out of school and then got hit by a
Yeah.
second bomb. Jeez. You got to be a sadistic son of a bitch to like go after kids.
No
like,
shit.
Like
this guy is really fucked up. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around it. Like, this is a grown ass man.
well, it's an irrational attack. Okay, if you want to attack the board for members or the bank or something,
Yeah, but
say he's lost his mind. That at least makes rational sense. But to go after children who have had nothing to do with this whatsoever, I mean, dude, you were like on the board, you were around these kids, like you knew some of these kids. To do that is just it's crazy.
It is. I cannot wrap my head around it. Like, it's got to be insanity.
Like he had to have just been pushed, like just his breaking point at this point. I mean, obviously we're not getting all the details, but it's just like I can't. But then you look back and you're like, okay, well, what if he did kill his stepmom? Maybe he's always been a little off ever since the brain injury, you know?
Yeah, I mean, maybe. I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to say. I would think you could be a little fucked in the head.
Here's the thing about this, okay? I don't want to say I understand. I can see like spur of the moment things when it comes to murder, like tempers flare, things like that. This was planned. Like he took the
Months.
effort to buy all this dynamite, plan this out, have it planted in his car, his house, the barn, the school. For months, he did this all out. This guy rationally thought this through. So this wasn't like a slow mental, like just I'm going to snap one day and lose my shit and take a gun and shoot people.
Right.
He planned this bomb out months in advance. Like that is a whole other, that like you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Like because you were intelligent about it, you didn't get caught, and you did it.
Yeah. No, I mean, knowing that you're going to kill kids.
Yeah. And
for what? For what fucking purpose?
Yeah. Just like I said, he probably even knew some of these kids because he was involved with the school board. Like how can you look like how can you do that to little kids that you've seen? Like you've met them.
I can't understand why. I know I keep repeating it, but I don't understand what the fuck he was thinking to do this to the kids.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I don't care how fucking
I
crazy
don't
you
understand.
are. An adult man going into a school and planting bombs like this, it's crazy.
Knowing that the kids are going to be involved, like knowing it, like he was not going after the adults. It was just anybody at that school.
Yeah.
And he didn't. He could have bombed the school when nobody was there.
Yes, exactly. If
like
it was something,
he was making a conscious choice to kill children, and that is just the most sickening part of the whole thing. I mean, any of the murder in general is frightening, but to that extent and that level that's scary.
So the thing is, okay, so we talk about whether he was just kind of crazy, since this happened.
Right.
But I don't think so. All right. I don't, I mean, he's a little screw loose, okay, in the head.
Well, I mean, the fact he bombed himself at the end, I would say he's, obviously not in a
no.
good
But
place,
I mean, at this point in time that he goes, he has the head injury and he goes into a coma.
Right.
Okay. So maybe he's a little messed up there, but I think it has to do with the election.
Probably.
Okay.
That was probably the catalyst for it.
So when they go to his farm after the fact, he has a sign that he's stenciled in writing, okay, on his fence there. And it says, "Criminals are made, not born."
Wow.
Like,
so he had convinced himself in his head
that this
was like justified by what they did to him
by
for this to
beating
happen.
him in an election.
Right,
like,
right.
What the fuck, man?
Well, I'm sure there was a combination of things, right? Like they're pinpointing it to the election thing, but like you stated, his wife's in the hospital. He's clearly upset about his wife.
Okay.
She's dying.
Yep.
Then you had the medical bills on top of it. Say you're right. Say
he's a shitty farmer, so he's not making money on that.
And was he still working for the electric company at this point in time?
No.
So he doesn't even have his steady job, which he at the time would have been, which would have got the money to earn to buy the farm to begin with. So now they don't even have income coming in to pay the payments, and he's paying all the additional money to the hospital.
Right.
So they're coming to take the farm, and he's like, "I'm not losing my wife, the farm, and I'm definitely not losing the election.
Right.
I'm taking everybody out." That was his thought process. I mean, I would assume, given his comment. I mean, that's the only rational way to take that. Like he literally convinced himself that all these things were just like made him into this horrible person.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's just trying. I think he's trying to convince everybody else.
Well, he's got to justify it, right?
Right.
Like, but that's still. But you're still trying to justify being a freaking psycho. You're a psycho for killing children. Like, no, it doesn't matter what your excuse is, man. You have no excuse. There is no excuse for it.
Young kids too.
2 to 6th grade. Second to 6th grade. Yeah. No.
Like 7 to 12, something like that.
Yeah.
Man. But okay, so what I was talking about earlier says one of his sisters, because he's got 12 siblings, right?
Right.
One of his sisters claimed his remains and arranged for burial without ceremony in an unmarked grave. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy. You wouldn't get any sort of ceremony.
His grave would be defiled anyway.
But the Price family, which is his wife, right? They claimed her remains and had her body buried in Lansing under her maiden name.
I would have too.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, because she didn't do anything.
No,
here.
she was suffering from TB, and then he, like you said, it's hard telling whether or not he killed her out of pity or. I mean, you still killed her, man. Yeah. Like it doesn't even say how, but then you burned her body up in, blew her body up in the barn.
Right. And I mean, she's dead. It is what it is, I guess. But I wonder about that too. Is it that is it that she's like suffering and
Well,
she's on the
she came in from the hospital. So was she
right,
coming
but
home
it
for
could have
hospice, or was
well,
she
I
coming
mean,
home
there's
to?
not I don't think
Or
there's
probably at the
hospice
time,
there,
right?
but
But I mean, was she coming home to die, or was she coming home to?
right.
Was she how
Because she
reco-
was getting better and
Yeah,
so
like which way
yes.
was it? It just says she came home from the hospital. It doesn't specify,
Right.
you know. But I mean, she's got
S-
TB at the time, so she
So
probably wasn't getting better. But
I I'm just gonna go out on a limb, disagree if you will, but I'm gonna say that she's on the verge of dying.
that's what I'm guessing.
And because now he's planned this for months,
Well, that would
right?
add to him snapping. I mean,
But he's planned it for
right?
months, so
Yeah,
he knows that it's coming. And then that's what my guess is. She comes home from the hospital because she's getting ready to die,
yeah,
and then he is. I mean, it's the love of his life.
right.
Even
Even though he's
psychopaths
crazy,
have
yeah.
lifelong loves.
So now that aids in the theory about his suicide. Like his wife died, or his wife's dying. He's like, "We're gonna die together," kind of a thing.
Right.
It's like puts her down, goes bomb to school, kills himself.
You
Like
know,
doesn't have anything
that's.
tying him here.
I wonder if they. I wonder if they had any kids.
It does not say.
No.
How long have they been married?
Well, they got married in 1919, so
So
8 years.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
I would think in 8 years of being married. I mean, well, he was God though. He was born in '72. He would have been
Oh wait, yeah. It was 1919. No. Sorry. It was 1912 when they got married. It was
okay.
1919 when they bought the
So
property.
he would have been late 40s.
Yeah, we're just right at 40. He was born 72. It was 1912 when they got married.
Oh, 72.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So right at 40. I
yeah,
mean, yeah, he still could have had kids.
yeah. But
How old was she?
she had to have been around the same age.
Well, I mean,
Because,
maybe they didn't have any kids if she was older.
yeah,
Especially back then. 40 now, women can still do it. It's rough, but back then at that time, the medical advancements weren't quite there to handle that kind of stuff. I'm sure.
right. Yeah. I wish I can't tell you when she was born, but I know that it said that they met when he was going to Michigan State.
Oh, okay. So they've been in college at the same time.
Right. So I assume that's what my assumption is.
Right.
She's going there
Right.
too. Uh, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't specify at the college. It just says he met while he was going
Right.
there. But I mean,
But so the way this ends up then is 58 people are injured and 45 people are killed, including himself.
right.
And I mean, 39 of the people who were killed were children. 38 children.
That's still frightening.
Yeah. So
I wonder what the statistics on that are. I mean, I hate to be morbid about that, but it's like, in comparison with some of the incidents that they've had in the last, 20, 30 years with all the shootings. But it's pretty bad when, I wonder if this is the first incidence of like an attack on a school as well. It doesn't state it. It just said it was the largest incident, but I wonder if this is the first.
deadliest act of mass murder in school
Yeah.
in U.S. history.
But I'm curious, like, when the first attack on schools was.
I don't know, but I don't even know that I would even group this like that because it's what I mean.
I mean, most of the ones you see now are usually from crazy students. And I hate to say that, but that's what it comes down to. It's unstable students that are in school who come back to do something like.
But, I mean, maybe stuff just didn't get publicized so much prior to this.
That's possible.
But I mean, I feel like people are getting crazier.
Well, I mean,
Except for this
well,
guy.
here's the thing though. It's not just that they're getting crazier. Like it's population. Think of the population count then versus now, right? So even if it's even if it's based on a percentage, say
No, I get what you
2% of the population is crazy. Okay, well, the 2% back then versus the 2% we got now, we got a lot higher number now. It's a lot more people to traffic, and to
I
police.
get
So
you. Yep, that's true. But this guy is, I think he's I would say to date, probably the biggest piece of shit we've talked about.
oh yeah, by far. I I mean, we've talked about some horrible ass people, but this guy's, man, the extent that he went to do this, and the thought process that went in, and he continued the decision to do this after
Yeah.
when he was doing it.
Kind of pisses me off.
He had so many times to quit, and
I mean,
he chose not to.
It really pisses me off, actually.
Yeah.
So these were kids that they're,
Just
they,
innocent children.
fuck, little kids, man.
Disgusting.
Anyway, so that's where we're at. That's the start of our trek down these serial killers, and man, what a piece of shit, though. Anyway, so we're gonna continue on with some more serial killers, and we'll do the hauntings. Kyle's got a sweet voice that he's going to use.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I kind of want to push the button right now, but I'll save it for when
Save
it's. I will save it for the appropriate time.
So anyway, that's all we got on Andrew Kehoe. Andrew Kehoe.
Kehoe.
I think it's
Kehoe.
Kehoe. Either way, piece of shit.
Yeah.
So, but we'll put some more information on him on the website.
You should put his wonderful sign he had in his yard up. There's a picture of it on there.
I will. I'll put that on the website.
It's like, dude, you planned this out so well. You had a sign put up, so when people came back to your house to see it, you're a piece of shit.
So we'll put it up at wikibros.com. Be sure to subscribe to our podcast and YouTube channel. Follow us on your favorite social media outlets like TikTok and Instagram. Leave a rating, tell a friend. And remember, Wikipedia runs on donations. So would you consider giving them a couple of bucks?
Oh, and hey, negative or positive comments. We think the negative ones are just as hilarious as the positive ones, so keep them coming.
Yeah. And, give us something, because right now on our website, I have fake people leaving us reviews.
I didn't even know that. Okay, guys, somebody leave something. Come on, doesn't have to be anything great. Just constructive criticism, though, guys. Constructive. It doesn't need to be hateful.
Or you can be hateful.
I mean, that's fun. That's really funny.
I
too.
really don't care.
Honestly, I know I have a little thing we're gonna do. I was thinking about this. So the more we get, we're going to read out some of the hateful comments that are put on some of the
the
videos.
problem is that a lot of what I see is it's people. It's not so much the comments. It's just like the downvoting type of stuff.
Oh.
But to be fair, well,
I know why people were mad at the $1
million
Yeah, because
idea.
everybody I need $1 million idea, and then our crappy video comes up, and we're like, this is $1 million idea, an app for rebates. It was satirical, guys. It was supposed to be funny. It was not serious. Quit taking it seriously.
I laughed so hard at all the people that were
so angry about it. This isn't $1 million idea. No, it was supposed to make you laugh for me being a dumbass. So enjoy it.
So anyway, but yeah, go ahead and leave us a little review somewhere. We'll take it.
Good or bad.
All right. So join us next time for Wiki Bros. I'm Justin.
This is Kyle.
And we'll see you soon.